Right, here we are. This is your chance to share at the same time as me this watches adjustment and repair. A micrometer. Accurate measurements from 1/1000th of an inch, it looks like. And we're going to get a date. Vertex. Pincers. Tiny, tiny, tiny screwdrivers. Look at that. Hats off to them. Well, I don't need to repair them at the minute, but some of my vintage watches. And I've just taken delivery of some vintage watch tools. A chance for you to share in the unboxing. I have decided to get into watch servicing on an amateur level. I have quite a few vintage watches. I want to be able to service those myself. And this is the start. I do have some basic tools already. Some of the cheaper Chinese tools that are fine for many jobs that I want to do. There'll be many of these tools that I haven't got a clue what they do. So it'd be quite helpful. If you do know, you can let me know in the comments. Okay, let's have a look. 50 quid this little lot cost. More packaging. Right, here we are. This is your chance to share at the same time as me. Thanks, seller, for providing this little handy container. Let's see what we've got. A micrometer. Accurate measurements from 1/1000th of an inch, it looks like, with complete instructions. Absolutely fantastic. How to use your micrometer. That'll come in handy because I haven't got a clue. Can somebody tell me what that is? That looks like, to be honest, that's off a light bulb. But that, right, I see, different widths. Interesting, yeah, ingenious. That must be a case back press or something like that. Let's have a look. That is quite ingenious. If that is some sort of press and they've used light bulb holders, then, you know, hats off to them. Weird. Looks like a couple of crowns. Pointless. Now I know what that is. Very, very nice. I've got a modern version of that for the spring bars. It does, on the face of it, look like that is for tiny vintage straps. A little brush. They are quite hard, bristly. Specialist punches. Little punches. Tell me if you think this is all worth having. I think it's going to take me a long time to figure out how to use everything here. A lovely old Swiss made ruler for measuring. Interesting. I love the micrometer. I've never had a micrometer. It appears that we have some, these will need a clean. Full selection of, I doubt that they're Persian, but they are very, that's sharp, very finely made tweezers. Actually, that is Swiss. File. Some more tweezers. Slightly thicker. A good little clean. Get some of the autosol on here. But these tweezers, let's have a look at what we've got. there's the tweezers. Right, that's a regular set of tweezers, just a regular set of tweezers basically. But these tweezers are definitely watchmaking tweezers, and that is a number 5. It is Swiss. That is a number 5, again Swiss. That is very sharp. These will all have to be cleaned, and that's sharp. That looks strong. Can anybody give me any advice whatsoever as to what that... Oh, look at that. I love it. I love it, but I don't know what it is. That looks like a whole selection of little files and punches. Tiny, tiny screwdriver. More little screwdrivers. Tiny set of screwdrivers. Metal. They look very good, those, actually. Very well made. Need a good clean. Pointless battery. No idea. Actually, that's... What is that? Tweezers. Flat-headed tweezers. Swiss. Not sure. Some very good range of screwdrivers there. That'll not be for a watch. Neither will that. That's out of a Christmas cracker, that. But that certainly isn't. That is a solid brass old screwdriver. That lovely. I love that. A very peculiar shaped file. You could use that for filing. If you cut a crown stem, I would imagine you could get a perfect fit with that. But this is what I really wanted. Books on watchmaking from the vintage times. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Screwdriver set. All different sizes. Now, I do have screwdrivers, but they're plastic. These look... you probably can't have too many. Even with the original cardboard in there. They're lovely. A couple of bits and bobs, another file. I think I've got some reasonable stuff. I don't know what some of it is. What's that? Another screwdriver. It's a bit wrecked. Actually, I might chuck that. It's a little bit wrecked. Then we'll have this. Which is... I'll have to research this fella. Arthur Tremaine. How your watch is made, how it works, and how to take care of it. Oh, a Turner and rotary adverts on the inside. The date is... Is there a date? Nevada, look at that. Breitling I mentioned. It's London. We're going to get a date. Vertex, look. This is a nice little book. I bet a collector would love this book. And finally, there's a few little bits in there. There's tiny screwdrivers, little pincers, tiny screwdrivers. Look at that. What would that go in? That might, yes. That would probably push out some of the stiffer pins, but it is a screwdriver. Tiny, that's tiny, that. Ooh. That. Punches. I like these. I mean, I don't really know what everything is, but I'm going to have to learn. The main thing that drew me to the whole package was this. Watches, adjustment and repair. London. If it's an Amiga, if it's an Amiga, it can be mended. Love it. And this book dates to 1948. So that could be just in time to repair my, well, I don't need to repair them at the minute, but some of my vintage watches. Look at that. These old adverts are great. These are great just to have, look. Roma, Nevada, Breitling, Quarterbear, never heard of them. Tools and Materials from Robert Pringle from London. I think I might have some of those now. Vertex, Trebex. Isn't that great? Oh, and one of the original adverts for Rolex, the Oyster, permanently waterproof watch. How good is that? Screw taps. This is going to send me to sleep. If I ever have trouble sleeping, British hallmarks, date letters. Oh, this is it. I'm on my way. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to have to edit this, I think, because you have opened this alongside me. But this is going to prove quite fascinating. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and join me for future watch adjustment and repairs.